All right then. What the heck is a stonk?
Though I know I should be wary, still I venture someplace scary. Ghostly haunting, I turn loose. Beetlejuice! Beetlejuice! Beetlejuice!
All right then, ladies, gentlemen, and everything in between, and whatever you may identify as, welcome. Memes here. So, essentially, this was from last week, and we do still have the whole quote-unquote GameStop rebellion. The actual point where gamers rose up and actually started to realize that via creative use of game mechanics within the market, that if a whole bunch of hedge funds are betting against something like GameStop, hoping it's going to go down, they've taken short positions. None of this should construe any type of financial advice. I'm not an accountant, although I might know a couple. Now, as far as everything with this right here, so as we can see, this is from markets.businessinsider.com. As we can see, GameStop explodes another 157% higher after Elon Musk's GameStonk tweet extended Reddit-driven short squeeze. So what are all these different market mechanics? What the heck is going on? Again, none of this constitutes any type of financial advice, but essentially a whole bunch of folks were betting billions of dollars or a whole bunch of money that GameStop was going to go down because we're in the middle of a pandemic and a lot of folks purchase their games and everything via the internet now. However, with the holiday season and everything, usually you do see some more profits and everything because people do like to browse as well. Now, with everything here, essentially a whole bunch of folks bet on GameStop, and if you happen to be short selling, you potentially expose yourself to an infinite amount of risk. And if people kept betting on it, well, that's kind of how you get into the situation we're at. Again, I think WoW said it best. It's a creative use of game mechanics. And hey there, Bone. I see you there in the chat. Welcome one, welcome all. Shout out to my patrons, Joe Franco and Dave M. This broadcast is helped made possible by viewers like you. Now, we'll get right into the article because, yes, I didn't read it before there because that's how you're supposed to do things. Essentially, yes, a number of other stories. Yes, shares in GameStop rose as much as 157% on banter on social media for widely held stocks. See, it happens. The Tesla founder posted a link to the popular subreddit Wall Street Bets, members of which have piled into GameStop's soaring stock. Yes, as we can see, he posted a link there, and then since he posted a link, and one of the reasons why, as I shifted out of Dragon form, they kind of put a pause on the stock is it seems that some of those securities commissions, they wanted to make sure they had liquid assets. They had the cash infusion because we must remember from the last kind of stock market thingy in like the 20s or something where you had those memes of like those business people literally jumping out of windows and everything. Again, I am not a psychologist. If you feel the need to do that, I would consult one or a closely held friend. Now, as far as everything with this, basically they found a loophole, if you would, in the system because it sounds like the algorithms for trading are like, oh, basic supply and demand. People keep on buying this. And since people on the other end are held to account for upwards of billions and billions of dollars, well, somebody's making money. That's how the market's designed. As long as there's volatility, as long as things are moving, somebody's going to be making some money somewhere. But yes, as well as billionaire Charmarth Piliheta, my apologies for butchering your name, also joined the Reddit frenzy by excitedly announcing he bought 50 call options in GameStop. So basically, you could short, you can call. Again, I am not a financial advisor. None of this construes any type of financial advice. But basically, if you're calling, that means you're purchasing an option for the future where you're going to buy rather than sell what's not yours because you borrowed it from somebody else on the bet that it's going to go down. This is the interesting thing because if these were not multi-billion-dollar hedge funds managing these assets, well, yeah, they wouldn't necessarily have the ability to liquidate certain options and basically have the money. Again, this seems to basically have found an exploit for short selling, because a lot of times you get a lot of institutional investors. If enough folks are investing, that is one of the factors that they typically look for. Oh, all these people are going this way, so the market and spawn returns. Oh, this makes sense. But hey, somebody's making money. Why not the people? Yes. So February 19th, yes, scores of Wall Street Bets users have driven the video game retailer's stock to record highs while targeting short sellers like Gabe Plotkin's Melvin Capital and Maple Lane Capital. The online stock investing chat group now has over 2.4 million mester. I believe it's actually up to, what was it? Tim Pool said like over 7 million people now. The people keep on doing it. It's a public forum. We are in times of plague, and during times of plague we must keep ourselves socially distanced as best we can. And hey, why not go into an online community where you end up having the power of millions of people versus the power of a bunch of people that happen to have a lot of money? Hey, fair's fair, right? This is how it's set up within the market. I see you there, Zach. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, one. Thank you all. Here are some happy squirrels. 낮에는 따사로운 인간적인 여자. 커피 한 잔에 여유를 아는 품격 있는 여자. Exactly. We got to have a whole bunch of fun as well. As you can see, yes, people keep on joining. But this is one of the things. We're good with that right now. It just kind of shows. It's like, all right, if that happened, is this the game we really want? Because one of Mr. Pool's criticisms, as much as I like to rag on Mr. Pool, has been that, oh, if you get a whole bunch of folks that talk to these folks, may or may not have connections, and they say a whole bunch of things on TV, people respond to that. Now, how is that different than a whole bunch of people on the internet saying a whole bunch of things and people responding to that? I don't know. Why? Because they're in a big fancy institution that has these big fancy offices and all these perks and benefits that a lot of folks have worked very hard for. I have heard folks in the industry, it's basically, you basically bust your butt for about 10 years or so, and then things tend to become easier, and then you get paid more. Now, that's just an anecdotal experience, but I tend to think a lot of industries are kind of like that in many ways. Now, specifically, with all of this, what does it mean? My question is, what's legal for who? How is something wrong with a whole bunch of folks on the internet saying, well, this seems like a decent idea, and it's called bets? Yes, not financial advice. But if you're talking about the power and the scale, if you got over 7 million people kind of talking about certain things, having certain ideas, and certain things seem like a way of making money, especially, it kind of seems to me, in my opinion, they found an exploit to kill short selling, at least on very large scales. Because you look at whatever somebody's betting against, if this is the way the system's set up, I don't know. If the other side is exposed to unlimited risk, and you can throw some money in it here and there, again, none of this is financial advice, but it seems to be an exploit in the system. Again, creative use of game mechanics. Razorgore becomes part of your team and you divine intervention him. I don't know. Maybe that's not how the game's supposed to be played, but it's a possibility, especially if you have really laggy servers. But that's another story there. But I just thought it was interesting where you also have powerful individuals like Elon Musk. That's the thing. If you happen to be on social media and you have a great reach, is that not power? Is that not influence? If all of a sudden the stock surges up 157%, now is it all Elon Musk? Probably not. A lot of folks were getting on the bandwagon and stuff anyway, but I don't know. This leads to questions about how the system is set up and how it kind of seems like once you have a certain power level, especially on the internet or within wealth itself, things seem to be a lot easier. I'm just saying, I think there are ways we can kind of tweak the system or maybe break the meta a bit and reform into something far more useful. there. But I see you there, Kip. Welcome again. Welcome everybody that's watching now and that may watch in the future. Put a cool little thumbnail with Elon Musk. I was on the Portal Discord. They're talking about Elon, Octopi, and everything. So I made a little meme because Octopi are supposed to be very smart. And I'm like, well, that's going to be the new neural net, maybe. They already have the suckers. Again, I am not an engineer or a neurologist, although I may know a few. But thank you all for watching. Peace out, everybody. Be safe, and long live the